Most people will spend their entire life with a mind full of unused potential, not because they lacked talent, not because they lacked opportunity, not because life was unfair to them, but because they never learned one thing. They never learned how to direct what they think about, and that is where everything begins. Because your mind is not meant to be empty. It is not meant to wander without direction. It is not meant to be controlled by fear, comparison, noise, and other people's opinions. Your mind is meant to be aimed, and if you do not aim it at a worthy goal, it will aim itself at worry. It will aim itself at regret. It will aim itself at distraction. It will aim itself at every fear that enters quietly and stays too long. Earl Nightingale called this the strangest secret, and the idea was simple, almost too simple. You become what you think about most of the time, not what you wish for, not what you say you want, not what you talk about once in a while, not what you post online. What you think about repeatedly, emotionally, privately, begins to shape the direction of your life. Your dominant thought becomes your direction. Your direction becomes your decisions. Your decisions become your habits, and your habits eventually become your future. So, the real question is not what do you want? Most people know what they want. They want peace. They want success. They want confidence. They want discipline. They want money. They want a better life. But wanting is easy. The real question is, what are you thinking about every single day? Because your future is not only being built by what you do when people are watching. It is being built by what you keep repeating when nobody is there. Every fear you replay, every excuse you believe, every comparison you allow into your mind, every silent belief you carry about who you are and what is possible for you. Your mind is listening, and whether you realize it or not, it is taking instructions. Right now your mind is building something. The question is, what is it building? Think about two people in the same city, same economy, same problems, same pressure, same starting point. One wakes up every morning thinking nothing ever works for me. The other wakes up thinking, what is one thing I can do today to move one step forward? One person sees difficulty and stops. The other sees difficulty and starts thinking. One person feeds fear. The other feeds direction. 5 years later, they live completely different lives. The difference was not always talent. It was not always luck. It was not always opportunity. Many times, the difference was mental direction, because a drifting mind creates a drifting life. Let that settle in. A drifting mind creates a drifting life. Most people do not fail in one dramatic moment. They drift. They scroll a little, delay a little, complain a little, compare a little, tell themselves they will start tomorrow, and slowly days become weeks. Weeks become months. Months become years. Then one day they look around and ask, how did I get here? Not because of one terrible decision, but because their thoughts were never given a clear direction. They were not choosing their mind. They were letting the world choose it for them. And in the modern world, this is happening every single day. People wake up and give their mind to the phone before they give it to a purpose. Before the day even begins, their attention is already taken. The algorithm tells them what to fear. Strangers online tell them who to compare themselves to. The news tells them what to worry about. Their insecurity tells them they are already behind, and after all of that, they call it thinking. But it is not thinking, it is programming. Because if you do not choose your thoughts, something else will choose them for you. The algorithm will choose them. Fear will choose them. Your past will choose them. Your environment will choose them. Your insecurity will choose them. And then you will call it your life. But it is not life, it is mental drifting. This is why Earl Nightingale's message matters so much. He was not saying that thinking alone magically changes everything. You cannot sit in a room, think about success, and expect life to deliver it. Thought is not a replacement for work. Thought is the beginning of work. Before you act, you think. Before you quit, you think. Before you try again, you think. Before you build discipline, you think. Before you destroy your confidence, you think. The mind always moves first. Your outer life follows your inner direction. That is why your thoughts matter. Not because every thought is true. Most thoughts are not true. A thought can be a fear. A thought can be a memory. A thought can be a prediction. A thought can be a lie repeated so many times that it begins to feel like truth. So, you must stop treating every thought like a command. You must become the guard at the gate of your own mind. When a thought enters and says, "You cannot do this," do not let it sit down. When a thought says, "You are too late," do not feed it. When a thought says, "You will fail again," do not hand it the keys to your future. Because your dominant thought is not just a thought, it is an instruction. And if you repeat the same instruction long enough, your life begins to organize around it. This is why a worthy goal is so important. Nightingale was not talking about random positive thinking. He was talking about a person with a worthy ideal, a clear aim, a meaningful direction, a goal that pulls them forward. Because a person without a worthy goal does not stand still. They drift, and when you drift long enough, fear becomes normal. Excuses become normal. Distraction becomes normal. A small life begins to feel normal. But it is not normal, it is just repeated. And what has been repeated can be retrained. Your mind is like soil. A farmer does not plant corn and expect poison. He does not plant weeds and expect wheat. He understands the law of the soil. Whatever seed goes in, that seed returns. Your mind works the same way. It does not argue with the seed. It does not ask whether the seed is good or bad. It does not ask whether the seed will help you or hurt you. It simply receives what you give it and produces. If you plant worry, worry grows. If you plant resentment, resentment grows. If you plant fear, fear grows. If you plant comparison, comparison grows. But if you plant a clear goal, direction, courage, discipline, and faith in your own effort, those things begin to grow too. VE. Soil does not judge, it produces. Your mind does not judge. Either it produces. That is why you cannot blame the soil for the harvest. The soil only returned what was planted. If the harvest is weak, the answer is not to curse the field. The answer is to change the seed. So look at your life honestly. If your confidence feels weak, what have you been repeating? If your days feel directionless, what instructions have you been giving your mind? If your focus is scattered, what have you been planting? If fear feels natural, how long have you been feeding it? The harvest is always honest. You cannot plant distraction every morning and expect deep focus. You cannot plant fear every night and expect courage to feel natural. You cannot plant excuses every day and expect discipline to appear. But here is the freedom in that truth. If repeated thoughts helped bring you here, better repeated thoughts can take you somewhere else. You may be tired, but you are not trapped. You may be behind, but you are not finished. You may have drifted for years, but you can choose direction today. Think about a ship. A ship may be powerful, built to cross oceans. It may have strong engines, structure, and strength. But if that ship has no destination, no map, and no captain, what happens? It drifts. The waves push it. The wind controls it. The current decides where it goes. That is what happens to a person without a clear goal. They may be talented. They may be intelligent. They may be full of potential. But without a destination, life starts choosing for them. Their mood becomes the captain. Their fear becomes the map. Their distractions become the current. And then they wonder why they feel lost. You are not lost because life has no path. You are lost because your mind has not been given a clear destination. Worry is imagination without direction. A goal is imagination with purpose. Fear asks, what if everything goes wrong? A goal asks, what must I do next? And that one question changes everything. Because the moment you ask, what must I do next? You stop drowning in thought and start moving through action. Most people do not need more motivation. They need a destination. Motivation without direction becomes noise. Energy without direction becomes frustration. Ambition without direction becomes anxiety. But when your mind has a destination, everything begins to organize around it. You start noticing what matters. You start saying no faster. You stop giving energy to things that do not serve the future you are building. Discipline becomes easier because the mind finally knows why. So here is the honest question, and I want you to sit with it. What is the dominant thought of your life right now? Is it fear? Is it comparison? Is it regret? Is it the belief that you are too late? Is it the quiet feeling that you are not enough? Is it the old story that nothing ever works for you? Because whatever thought dominates your mind will slowly shape your behavior. Not once, not occasionally, every single day. If you wake up believing nothing will work, you will stop trying before life even gives you a chance. If you wake up believing you are not capable, you will avoid the very things that could prove your strength. If you wake up believing everyone else is ahead, you will spend more time watching them than building yourself, and this is how a person loses their future quietly, not because they had no potential, but because their mind was trained by fear instead of purpose. Here is the good news, Gach. You can train it again. You do not defeat a negative thought by arguing with it all day. You defeat it by replacing it with a stronger picture, a picture of your goal, a picture of the person you are becoming, a picture of the life you are building one day at a time, a picture of the worthy ideal you are moving toward. Because the mind cannot follow two dominant pictures at the same time. If you keep feeding the picture of fear, fear grows. If you keep feeding the picture of direction, direction grows. This is not magic. This is mental discipline, and mental discipline is where personal change begins. The person who controls their attention controls their direction. The person who controls their direction controls their actions. The person who controls their actions controls their future. So here is exactly what to do starting today. For the next 30 days, test this idea with your own life. Do not just believe it, prove it. Choose one worthy goal, not 10. 1. Not a vague dream like, I want a better life. A clear goal. What do you want to build? What skill do you want to master? What kind of person do you want to become? What result would make the next chapter of your life genuinely different? Write it down. A goal that stays only in your head can disappear under pressure. It gets weakened by fear. It gets postponed by comfort. It gets buried under noise. But a goal written down becomes a command. It becomes a map. It becomes a daily reminder to your mind. This is where we are going. For the next 30 days, take a piece of paper. Physical paper. Not just a phone note, because physical paper forces you to see it, to hold it, to commit to it. Write one clear, worthy goal at the top. Read it when you wake up. Read it during the day. Read it before you sleep. Every time fear says, "Oh, you cannot do this," look at the goal. Every time your old identity says, "This is not working," look at the goal. Every time distraction calls your name, look at the goal. Do not argue with the fear. Do not negotiate with the excuse. Do not feed the old story. Just return to the goal again and again, not once, not casually, every day. For 30 days, the purpose is not only to achieve the goal, the purpose is to train your mind to follow direction instead of fear. That is how you stop drifting. You give the ship a destination, and once the ship has a destination, the storms do not disappear. You will still face hard days. You will still feel doubt. You will still hear the old thoughts. You will still get tired. But now you will have direction, and a person with direction is powerful. They can endure difficulty because the mind knows why. They can ignore distraction because the goal is clear. They can say no to what does not serve the future they are building. Most people quit because their goal is not clear enough to pull them through discomfort. So make it clear, make it personal, make it worthy, and then protect it. Protect it from your own fear. Protect it from people who are also drifting. Protect it from the old version of you that wants comfort more than growth. Because your old thoughts will come back. They will say, "This is too hard." They will say, "You are still the same." They will say, "Why even try?" And that is the moment your future is decided. Not when everything is easy. Not when motivation is high. Not when people are cheering. Your future is decided when the old thought returns, and you choose the new direction. Anyway, that is growth. Growth is not never feeling fear. Growth is choosing your goal while fear is speaking. Growth. Fear is not waking up motivated every day. Growth is building a mind that knows where it is going even when motivation is gone. Slowly, quietly, deliberately, thought by thought, choice by choice, day by day. Your mind is always listening. When you repeat fear, it listens. When you repeat excuses, it listens. When you repeat comparison, it listens. But when you repeat a clear goal, it listens too. When you repeat courage, it listens. When you repeat direction, it listens. When you repeat discipline, it listens. So give it better instructions. Tell it where you are going. Tell it what you are building. Tell it who you are becoming. Then prove it with action. Because thoughts create direction, but action confirms belief. Do not only think better. Move better. Do not only imagine the goal, might walk toward it. Do not only say you want change. Plant the seed every day. Read the goal. Protect your attention. Replace the fear. Take the step. Repeat. Again and again and again. Because your future is not somewhere far away waiting to happen. Your future is being built right now. In the thoughts you repeat. In the choices you make. In the seeds you plant today, so plant carefully. Because your mind will grow whatever you give it. Early. Nightingale's message was simple, but it was not small. You become what you think about most of the time, so if you want a different life, you cannot keep giving your mind the same instructions. New. Life begins with new dominant thought. New direction. New. New action. A drifting mind creates a drifting life, but a directed mind creates a future. Choose one. Go write it down, carry it with you, read it every day. And for the next 30 days, give your mind one clear command: this is where I am going, then move not. Perfectly, not loudly, not for applause, move with purpose, because the life you want will not be created by random thoughts, it will be created by a directed mind. Your mind is building your future right now. Make sure it is building the one you actually want.